consider yourself spiritual? Have you always been looking for ways to enhance your intuition and awaken to your other gifts and whatnot, and just explore your spirituality and get more connected and grounded or whatever? Are you also someone who has trouble with like following the normal advice, which is like, you know, meditating every day, sitting down trying to focus, XYZ, sticking to like a strict daily routine or whatnot? Are you more of the scatterbrain type of individual? This video may be for you, okay? This video is going to be speaking on how I actually began to awaken or strengthen my intuition accidentally without any other spiritual like tools with like tarot or anything else, even without meditation, mostly. So hopefully this will help you as well if you're someone who is neurodivergent, you know what I mean, and also just creative, and you're looking to get more in touch with your spirituality. Then and you're looking to like see how can you really get in touch with your intuition, and you've tried all these other ways of doing so and it doesn't feel like it's working, or it just doesn't resonate with you, then I may know the reason. Okay, what's up y'all, it's Interstellex here. Thank you so much for joining the channel. Shout out to you if you're new. Welcome back to all my stargazers, and thank you so much for tuning into this video slash podcast. So yeah, we're just gonna hop right into it. Okay? So I too was someone who was struggling with that as well. Was struggling with trying to keep up with the normal like routines and trying to apply all these 20 different million steps and buying all the crystals and whatever, trying to feel more connected or get more connected to myself and my spirituality. And you know, turns out that a lot of that is just marketing. What may work for someone else isn't one size fits all. So like a lot of the advice that is given, especially around like focusing your mind and whatever, is like basic watered down, like the typical meditation type of stuff that doesn't really work for everybody. Okay, and so I'm just gonna give some backstory on how I feel I began to like strengthen my intuition. So I will also suggest some things that will help you as well, or just help you realize how you've already been like doing it, you know what I mean, just naturally. Okay, so okay, for me, I began awakening to my gifts around 2022. Spring of 2022 is when I kind of got sat down to like, I was in the hustle and bustle a lot of life. I was like chasing after the dollar. I was not really slowing down enough, 1, 2, and I was still, at the time I didn't really know what I wanted to do with myself, with my life, where I was going, and like I would just kind of like, you know, just caught in survival mode, right? And you know, spring of 2022, I kind of got set down in regards to me just you know, slowing down in life and kind of just taking it easier, trying a more easier approach to life. And like I was like forced into like this kind of solitude space where I had nothing but time on my hands to really explore without the constant rush of trying to survive behind me, or you know, or trying to survive or obtain something that I needed at that time. So I just had time to just really sit, relax, surrender, and kind of become more into like a receptive type of energy, right? Which is something that I struggled with still. I kind of can fall back into like, you know, my hustle masculine type of energy sometimes, and it can really just take over, and it's hard to like really figure out how to like slow down again, you know. And so during this time I'm in my receptive energy, and that's when, you know, I just started being more curious, like experimenting with things. I started experimenting with or exploring like writing music or raps, basically. And I started to develop like a love for music that way. I've always had like a love for music, but I never thought I could rap, right? I never thought I can like write music. So like, you know, I had the curiosity, I explored it, I tried it, and I didn't stop. I actually decided to I found some love in it. I was able to like, it was fulfilling me in some way. And so I just kept going down the rabbit hole, and then I got better. I noticed I was getting better and better at it. And you know, at first it was just like me playing with words, me just like you know, liking to write music. It was very cliche, like starter rapper shit, you know. And then I started noticing down the line, I noticed that, like, you know, as I'm writing, like a month or two in, I started noticing like little things. Like I started kind of asking myself, like, sometimes I would write and words would just come to me, words that I've never said in my life, words that I've never looked at before, and I would just know the meaning of it. Like it would just flow out of me like it was nothing, right? And it kind of caught my attention, you know, the fact that, you know, I would look up a word just because I'm like, do I even know the meaning of this word? Then I would look it up, and like it would kind of like fit perfectly with what I was saying already. And it's like I didn't even look this word up, you know. So that was the first thing that stuck out, right? And you know, later down the line, you know, I kind of it's like I was slowly realizing how spiritual music was, or how like it can be used as like a channeling like thing, or tool. So I started to, you know, as I'm writing music, I started to realize more things. Like I'm starting to not only realize shit within about myself, like kind of learn about myself through music, you know. I was also able to kind of like, I don't want to say like prophesy, but like kind of, that's what it was. Like I would be kind of like predicting shit a little bit, and not in like a big major way, but like, you know, things would just, I will say something in a song, and then like later down the line, like it would like kind of play out or something. It was weird. So then that happened, and then what else? Then I did that, like, you know, started getting weird. Oh, and then like I would make these songs, right? I started realizing that I wasn't really just communicating with myself through music, basically. I would notice that like I would use music to express myself, my negative emotions, my sadness, my loneliness, whatever. Just I would kind of, or I just ask like questions or whatever. I would kind of like receive confirmation or like a message back in my reality that only I know that I like spoke to. Like only I knew. I like, it only made sense to me because I know I only mentioned that in a song that I didn't release. So that would then come up, and that is when I started to realize like I'm like, I have like a gift or something. Like this is more than just writing raps, you know. This is actually like a communication thing, like a direct line per se. And you know, the more I started writing, the more I understood the spiritual side to music, and how not even just music in general, but how like art is very connected to the other side. So yeah, I noticed that like even within my art or whatever, looking at my old paintings and whatever, I realized that like I was, you know, like I feel like I call my paintings intuitive paintings, because I feel like that's a moment for where anything that's in my subconscious, like I kind of figure out what I need to work on subconsciously, or what I'm feeling by painting, you know what I mean? Like I do have a hard time to an extent with expressing myself, you know, articulating how I'm feeling, like just talking verbally. I usually need some time to like write it out, or I like I said, if I paint it, or if I just allow myself to paint or just listen to music or whatever, I can, like basically anything related to art allows me to kind of understand what I'm trying to say better, or how I'm feeling better than I can through just trying to express myself verbally. And this is something that I'm working on now. This is why I'm starting a podcast. I'm trying to be more on YouTube, make these videos and whatnot, because not only that, I am trying to get over my fear of being seen. And I know, like, I just know I'm supposed to be using my voice to an extent, so I'm just doing that. So yeah, so I noticed that I started, like, my intuition was kind of like growing slowly. You know, this is 2022, so from 2022 going into 2023, like, imagine within those months, it was like slow little, like, growth moments of me, like, having moments of, like, where my intuition was just, like, I can be away from music now to the point where, like, it awakened or strengthened my intuition to a point where, like, I don't necessarily need a beat anymore, if that makes sense. I don't need anything else. Even though for me it's what works best, like, you know, for me. But you know, I can venture out into other things, but I feel like the root of it was me, like, strengthening my intuition, and it, like, getting to the point that it is now wasn't necessarily just because I picked up, like, tarot or something, or that I went and, like, got taught how to do so. It's just kind of like I would just, like I said, I had nothing but time on my hands, so, like, every day. And this also ties into, like, the whole routine thing. Like, you don't necessarily have to have, like, this extensive routine or dedicating, like, 2 hours a day to just trying to, like, grow spiritually or, like, enhance your gifts or whatever. Because when I was working on this music thing, like, my intuition has grown a lot since then, but throughout that year, I was just, or those few months, I was basically only really just, like, what is it? Like, I wasn't writing full songs every day. Sometimes, some days I would just, like, listening to beats. Some days I will be listening to beats, then I'll find a beat that I like, and then I'll hum over it, and then to find, like, a flow, and then that'll be it. There'll be some days where I would do the whole process of finding a beat, humming over it, like, finding a flow for it, writing the entire song, finishing it, and posting it same day. And there would be days where I would just listen to beats and nothing would be hitting for weeks or days at a time. Sometimes I couldn't write, not shit, you know what I mean? Nothing would come up, but it was me just showing up to it, I guess, and just trying to, like, it's almost like not applying, it's kind of like going to the gym, but not going to the gym and applying 2 hours every day. It was mostly like just giving it a shot, you know what I mean? Like, every day, and just trying again and not really giving up on it, despite what the progress looked like for that specific day or that specific week or month. Because there were some days where, even like recently, my intuition has grown so much. It's scary where my intuition is now, but it and I feel like it may be because I have been trying to explore it, like, now intentionally by using tarot and whatnot. But yeah, that was one way that, you know, that's how I feel my intuition was able to grow, and to tie into, like, why I don't think, like, if you struggle with, like, following the same routines as, like, or the advice that people give you as far as, like, tapping into your intuition, it's because, like, people like us who are neurodivergent or who are just creative in general, the way that we focus on things, we, like, you know, the regular meditation tricks or whatever, they don't work for us. Not all the time. We focus when we're doing things that we love, things that we are curious in. And I realized that if you don't get connected, not connected, but if you just remove the, like, focus on the bottom line of what meditation itself means, I guess. And it's basically trying to get you back into that flow, like in a flow, like receptive state, right? Of just being present and accepting the presence, and just like you're just not really thinking too much of anything, right? And for some people, sitting still, crisscross applesauce, eyes closed, listening to like easeful music, that helps. And like meditation, I'm not saying meditation doesn't work for us at all, because I still do it, but it's not where my intuition grows. I don't think so. Because, you know, it's usually doing anything, which is the act of creating for me. People with ADHD are usually typically highly creative. So whenever we are in a moment in that creative state of just making something that we're just interested in or whatever, we enter that like meditative state where time starts to fly by. You're not really thinking much. You're just focusing on what's going on in the present moment and whatever. That's what it was. That's technically what I was doing when I was writing music. And not only because, you know, I was working on my throat chakra and whatever, like painting as well, and even beat making or knitting or writing, anything that it requires you to get into that flow state. If you're creative, doesn't matter what kind, whatever you do, that is your meditation. Like that is your practice of getting connected. That's how you get connected to source, or the creator, because, you know, God, the universe, like creator of all things, it makes sense that in order to really get connected, that your creativity is your, like, the way to get connected. You know what I mean? And you're like, it's like those talents and stuff that you have, whatever, like that's your way of being connected. That's the way of how you kind of like find yourself. You know, kind of get to know yourself more, of how you kind of show how you express yourself, or not like show how you view life through your unique lens, right? And there's this quote from the book of, let's see here, from the book of, it's called The Medicine Bag by Don Jose Ruiz. And he's talking about like power objects and talking about like spiritual stuff. It's like the medicine bag. It's like, it's not like a book like where it's just like an informational book where it shows you like rituals and stuff you can do to, like, you know, dedicate yourself to your healing journey or something. And so he goes on about power objects and whatever, and how you can like kind of enhance something to be like, you know, kind of like a crystal. You know how we assign like a meaning to crystals, and like this crystal is for XYZ, you know, type of healing. Same thing. It's kind of what he's talking about with power objects, but he's talking about, he mentions how art, or physical art, he said, but I feel like any type of art, physical art can be a power object as well. You know what I mean? Because the artist takes materials and combines them with their energy, their sincere intent and skill, and they create something new and beautiful. And it's just like, he's going on and he's touching on about the, like, you know, kind of like co-creating with the universe, using what we already have, and then using our energy, our vision, like whatever, like infusing that onto a canvas, or onto you know, into words or something. That's how he's in this particular example, he's using more like a painting, but like, you know, same thing for when you're like knitting something, like you're still infusing, like co-creating with the universe, like creating something. And I feel like most creatives know that they're spiritual, but at the same time, like, people don't realize like that their creativity alone, like them in the act of making whatever it is that they're good at, or they're whatever, the act of just creating in general is an opportunity, or like them opening up a door, like a connection to like their spiritual side, or like the other side, to their higher selves, or however you want to say it, to the universe. Like, you just have to, not every creative sees that as like the line, like the, what is that, what is, not every creative sees that as like the what connects them, you know what I mean? They feel like they have to go out and do, like I said, buy up all the XYZ, like follow up all the routines or whatever, and books and stuff. Like, I fell into that too, but it kind of just like, you know, realizing like, you know, you don't need that. Like, you don't really need any of the things that people are trying to sell you. And I even sat back and kind of, I'm reshaping my own business, because at first I was just like, pamper your spirit, right? Which is, yeah, which is nice because it ties into the whole self-care thing. But at the same time, I wanted to change it into being more about enhancing your creativity, because I only say this because the type of products that I do make and sell are things that I'm obsessed with myself, and then they are things that I use or have been using unintentionally to come back right quick. Come back right quick. But they are things I've been using, tools I've been using unintentionally that have unintentionally helped me kind of get connected. And I'm gonna give this quick story, then I'm gonna end the video. And there was this one time where I was in my bed, I was listening to music, and I was making like I was burning incense, and I had happened to smoke a blunt as well. And it was just like one of those profound moments that kind of like shocked me. It was like one of the first times where I knew that I could channel or something, right? Because I just felt like a different type of like connection. You know what I'm saying? At that moment, like, I don't smoke anymore. I don't feel like I need it to get connected anymore. But it was kind of like an accidental type of thing that happened. Incense in general, whenever I need to feel more connected, incense will always do the job. And I'm going to be selling some soon, but like it like there was like a stronger connection happening that I realized, and I was able to kind of like come up with, like, things were just hitting me over the head, basically downloads and like lyrics and stuff like that. And just like I think I was listening to like a Drake album or something at the time, and I was picking up on the messages, like the specific songs, like, you know, songs carry messages. So like the album at the time, it was giving me things that were like hitting, like really resonating in a moment. And I was like really sitting there trying to decipher them, like trying to give a meaning, like, you know, whatever. But yeah, so then from then on, I started like, whenever I'm in the mood, whenever I have incense, I just usually burn Palo Santo. I use that to get like, to kind of enhance the connection. Not saying that I need it to be connected, but I'm enhancing it, you know, making it stronger. And that's what I wanted to shift my business around. It's like this, supplying things that could help you enhance your creativity, you know what I mean, your session, your that moment of when you're trying to create. And, you know, for people who just, if you're wanting to become more spiritual, or like get more in touch with your spiritual side or whatever, and you're just more, you know, you want to invite, like, this is what I want to say, like, your creativity, your art can be a spiritual practice if you recognize it as that as well. So like, I feel like if you apply, like, you know, like an incense, or you do something to make it more of like to invite that energy in, or even if you just set that intention, just telling yourself like, this is my spiritual practice, like, it'll become that for you. Like, you will start there will be like a shift in the way you just make things, or just, you know, like you will feel a difference basically. And yeah, so if you're having a hard time trying to get connected, or feeling connected, or wanting to enhance your intuition as a creative, and you struggle with, or you more like the scatterbrain type, and like meditation is hard for you, your meditation isn't the same type of meditation as someone else, or what's being sold out here. It's whenever you get into this, find something that you're really into doing, or whenever you are just hyper focusing on something, you can just like allow that to just be what it is. Like you can just acknowledge that as what it is, like a moment of you being connected. And there you go. You know what I mean? Like you don't really have to go out here and like sign up for 80 classes and shit, you know, to learn how to get connected, because we all have that line to get connected. It's just, it's different for everybody. So I just wanted to make this video. I'm gonna put this up. Hope you like it. If you would like more of this from me, let me know. Very nervous about this. I have a blog where I kind of go more into depth of what I mean by this. It will be linked below. It's my shop, intuitiveroyalty.com. I have a blog on there. You can shop the website if you want to support. You know, so like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, or you can check this, like, listen to this on the podcast, Interstellar podcast, and you know, support that way. And other than that, I really don't have much to say. And thank you so much for joining me today. Love you. Bye.